Hey Leo, welcome to October 2020. Let's do this. King of Wands came out for you. Boop a boop. Doot a doot. Alrighty, and what else? Oh, okay. Leo, anything else want to come out for you? Yes. Okay, plenty. Well, here's the story. We got the Hanged Woman in reverse. Ooh, Ten of Swords. But Eight of Swords in reverse. Two of Cups upside down. Temperance in reverse. Knight of Cups. Two Pentacles in reverse. And that King of Wands. Okay. I think, if I'm being perfectly honest, I feel like there are some misunderstandings afoot, which I don't love to hear. But let's dive a little deeper into what we can glean from this situation. We got this Two of Cups in reverse. I feel like the love is there, but I feel like things are just so anxious and tense right now. Everyone's got their guard up. You know, everyone's kind of like really looking out for number one because, I mean, we're also moving through this Ten of Swords energy. And I think the Ten of Swords energy is different than the Two of Cups, so I shouldn't hold them together. In fact, maybe. It's more that, like, with all this coronavirus, right? And, like, with long-standing racial injustice, I mean, like, literally there's shit going on outside my window as I speak. As I talk about this, I went for a walk just now, and literally, like, a hearse just drove by me. And I was like, that is a little on the nose. Like, this is getting a little extra. This Ten of Swords energy to me is something we're all going through, but I suppose you're really feeling it, Leo. You are a very sensitive sign. I don't think you get credit for that enough. And you know, cycles are ending, right? Or things are coming to conclusions. We're getting to the climax of obviously what's going on. I'm speaking from America, but I think the rest of the world is a little concerned with our shit too, just because we make such a big fucking mess. You know what I mean? It's like, unfortunately, what we all do impacts one another. All that said, Ten of Swords energy feels very large and looming right now. And I think this energy, I'm just speaking to it so much because I think it's kind of impacting what flows from here. Like, literally what flows. But let's also talk about the good part of this, which is, like, a lot of these things that needed to end or be over needed to be end or be over for a long time. Like, let's let this moment hopefully also bring us a sense of new opportunity, or, like, anything can happen, right? And, like, leaning into the positive end of that. The positive ideas of Eight of Swords in reverse, kind of getting unstuck. And again, like, this, I feel a sense of, like, we're working towards a state of flow. We got Temperance in reverse. I do feel like with that and that, again, I'm channeling, so, like, I barely know what I'm saying, but, like, let's keep going. I was talking about this misunderstandings, having our guards up, feeling extremely vulnerable, so not connecting, not because the love isn't there, but because letting love in right now just feels super overwhelming, giving all these endings, right? It's like, if you break up with someone, some people jump right into a relationship, but I think typically you give yourself a moment, right? To process the last one before moving into the next. Obviously, not everyone does it that way, but that's sort of the energy I'm feeling. Is, like, part of the reason why this Two of Cups is in reverse, because it's like, I need to check in for me. A lot feels like it's like trying to let that dust settle, really. I feel with the Ten of Swords. Really trying to, like, process and grasp these conclusions, these endings of cycles, what was lost, what is, like, someone said, I was listening to a rabbi on a podcast, and she was saying that, hold on, refreshing. It's good to take a pause every once in a while. Okay, the rabbi said, like, what are the opportunities? What have we lost in this pandemic? And what are the opportunities? I'm thinking about how, too, Saturn, when it was in Aquarius, we saw the emergence of the protests, and then Saturn went back into Capricorn to finish up some loose ends. And I feel like with this Ten of Swords energy that I kept going on about, that is kind of blocking this connection to love, or just stalling it, right? There's a stagnation, and eventually things are getting out of stuck, but I did want to kind of circle back before I talked about this Eight of Swords and the, like, getting out of stuck with, like, the Hanged Woman upright and the Temperance in reverse. Which is, like, this desire to, like, to me, the Hanged Woman is always interesting because it's like the whole point of this card is for her to be upside down, right? It's for her to see things from a new perspective. It's for her to, like, let the blood rush to her head so that she can kind of, like, reboot her system. It's like getting kind of the, like, it's like rebooting the computer almost, or, like, kind of, if not rebooting it, restarting it, you know? It's kind of just, this card is all about taking the pause of surrender in order to just do that processing that I was talking about with the Ten of Swords. The, like, kind of like, whoa, what did I gain? What did I lose? Who am I? What's happened? What is changing? What can I do with this energy? Where can I place my hope and my energy and my forward momentum and my perseverance? But it's also, it was in the reverse. And it's like that whole point of, like, looking at things through a new lens. It's like, she's just stuck. Like, she just has a fear, or, like, I mean, who knows why she's upright, but it's like she's kind of, like, knows she needs to do this work of processing, but maybe it's just so big that it just feels like a lot to digest. So, and then we got Temperance in reverse. And this one, you know, I'm thinking it's about alchemy, balance, balance in terms of, like, a pH balance almost, right? Like, not a balance of, like, a balance of, like, energies, as opposed to a balance of quantity of a thing. It's, like, about the quality of getting things into right relationship. This card is also about, like, connecting with all the parts of ourselves, like, harmonizing with ourselves, kind of recognizing all of our different moods or states of mind or perspectives that we kind of, like, I think we play multiple characters, you know, or have multiple responses to things, or multiple, and I'm not saying everyone has multiple personality disorder, I'm just saying, like, we all have different parts of ourselves that have different reactions. And I think with Temperance, it's like we want to get that in right relationship, but again, there's just so much kind of big, almost like healing from trauma, but, like, the trauma is pretty fresh too, I feel, and we're all collectively experiencing some versions of this, right? With what's going on. So I think for you, you're just particularly sensitive and vulnerable. That's really what it is. It's Nine of Cups in reverse. It's like, I feel like the reason why the energy or the love, even though it's there, it's in the orbit, it's just not coming in or flowing because it's, like, just a little too soon, right? Like, I think we need to kind of get into alignment with ourselves. And this is, like, mind-heart balance, right? And that was, like, kind of what I was talking about here. So I guess I could talk about the difference of these two cards for a second, which is just, like, again, this one feels like more about internal balance, like the parts of ourselves being in harmony with one another. And this one feels kind of like more just like a light identity crisis. It's all part of I feel like I'm not even making sense anymore. I'll have to trust myself. Learning how to trust ourselves. Again, it feels like things kind of blew up, or just cycles were ended or coming to a close. And while there are positives to be gleaned from that, it's hard maybe even to see them hard to see the positives, hard to see it in a new light, hard to know what you can trust, or if you're ready, or whatever. And kind of like, yeah, just holding back a little out of a self-protective measure. I think it's like we're having to relearn ourselves maybe first before we can kind of enter new things. That's what this is. I was going on and on about these. Two of Pentacles in reverse and Temperance. Just because I guess to me it feels like October is like a little bit topsy-turvy month. Yeah, like kind of being in a fun house a little bit with like a lot of distortions, a lot of like not knowing where things are coming from. And again, a lot of that having to do with really needing to process something pretty big. And you know, it's sort of just putting a pause on a lot, especially around love and trust. And we're kind of needing to have the courage and like persistence to get ourselves in this hanged woman position to kind of work on balancing these, right? Right. This is right. And then go right. So you see what I'm doing? Like this is just everything being out of balance, being chaotic, and like being in that fun house, and like, or looking at being in the labyrinth, right? Like you're in the labyrinth and you're like trying to figure your way out of this thing and like getting a little bit overwhelmed. But really all you need to do, it's like in the movie Labyrinth, all she had to do was walk through the wall, and all she had to do to walk through the wall was to slow down, pause, talk to the people around her, get some more clues, get some more information about her situation or what the nature of reality was, right? What she was dealing with. And it wasn't the running around in circles that got her there, it was the stopping and pausing, and again, seeing things from maybe that little worm in the wall perspective. And then that gets everything right into balance so that there can be a forward movement getting out of that stuck energy. So, Leo, I feel like I'm gonna clarify this King of Wands now. It sounds like that's you, right? Which is good. I don't know. I think, yeah. Isn't this literally what I've just been talking about the entire time? Star in reverse. But the star in reverse coming up. Oh my god, and here's more out of balance. This reading is just like telling itself. Leo, look. I think really a lot of this month is going to have to be about keeping your cool and calming down and being your own light, which you can absolutely do, right? You are a Leo. You are, of all the signs, you are the most capable of being the light. It comes to you so naturally. You're fixed fire. It's literally what you are, is just the light. Just standing in one place, kind of like building its energy, glowing, illuminating the way. You have this within you, right? This is just your true nature. So that's good news. And that's this King of Wands upright, right? It's like here you are, you know, master of passion, creativity, making things possible. Kind of, to me, fire energy too is like the light, the birth of like out of the void, right? So there, if like, even if things feel chaotic and like we were talking about with like getting that new perspective, slowing down, calming down so you can get out of stuck. It's like when you can hang on to a calm perspective. And the Six of Pentacles in reverse, I usually talk about it as like being out of balance between the internal world and the external world. But what I want to say is that it's not your personal responsibility from the internal world to be responsible for what is happening in the external world. What do I mean by that? Like, I just mean that, like, everything outside of us right now is truly chaotic, right? It's just, we are in a little bit of a chaos storm, energetically. I mean, like, there's, like, literally chaos outside my window. And it's a little bit, like, maybe I'm exaggerating. But my point is, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I've been talking about this with myself. It's like, I think part of the job of this moment, being in this funhouse of mirrors and distortions and not knowing, is again, or the labyrinth, like running around in circles, like when you really need to go through the wall by like talking to the worm, by slowing down and like seeing it from a new perspective. The thing is, the labyrinth is crazy, right? Like, who would know to go through a wall? Like, of course we were running around in circles, right? It's like this moment kind of defies logic a little bit. Because the rules are just sort of out of balance. Like, there's just chaos. I keep saying that, but it's just true. So, or it feels true to me. I don't know where you are. If it's not, I love to be there. So, you are the light. You are the one guiding yourself out of this. The answers might defy logic, because this is really a time to go more deeper inside to get your truth to be your light, to generate it from inside of you. So the external world might be just being weird, right? And it's like, don't, like, that's a distraction in a way. Don't pay too much attention to it, be responsible with your intake of the external world. Let me say that. I'm not saying like completely put your head in the sand. I'm just saying, like, boundaries between your internal world and the external world, and what is trying to throw at you or make you believe, because we're working on this star. We're working on the healing. We're working on, like, knowing that we're worthy and deserving of healing. I think that's why it is in reverse, because it's like, do we feel like you know what I mean? Like, I think a part of us holds ourselves back from healing because we've like guilt or shame, or like, oh, if I heal, then like, am I abandoning a bunch of other people or something? Or am I being it's just kind of like this self-criticism that is the problem, and like the root of the pain that doesn't want to be healed. It's like, kind of, I don't know, I'm just channeling, so forgive me if this doesn't resonate, I guess. Forgive me. Or don't listen, whatever. So, I think we just gotta, like, let ourselves heal and feel like we can take this space. We can kind of, like, try to tune out a little bit to get right with ourselves, because we're already in the fun house, like that, what I keep talking about, or like the labyrinth. It's like we're already kind of in this, like, I was just thinking, like, the proposition of being alive on this planet at this time is absurd. It's like, why am I even alive? Like, why, like, if there is a god or whatever, it's like, why did I get put here right now? Like, this is too much. Like, I don't know if I like this 2020 plot, like, it's like a Michael Bay movie. I hate that. Like, I would never choose that. So, I was thinking that, and the reason why I'm sharing it with you, Leo, is just because it's like, alright, what do we have control over? It's like the Serenity Prayer. Like, grant me the power to deal with what I have control over, let go of what I don't have control over. And I think control issues are coming up too with all this. I mean, like, to bring it back to that Two of Cups in reverse, if we're feeling so vulnerable and, like, overwhelmed by, like, this constant barrage of, like, shit that the world is throwing at us, of course we're gonna be just, like, defensive AF, right? So, October. In conclusion, Leo, October is about Just knowing you're worthy and deserving of your own healing journey and that you're capable of it. That is just connecting with your true nature as a Leo, which is fixed fire, which is like you are the light, being the lighthouse. You guide others towards hope. And when you can kind of start generating it from within you and be in alignment with yourself, right, as the star of the show, which you love to be because you're a Leo and you have a lot of heart and you have a lot of love to give. And I think once you do this kind of like internal self-trust work around healing and like knowing you can heal and you deserve it, I think this will come in a really beautiful and genuine and not forced way, which will be really great. And I don't think that's here in October quite yet. I feel like that would be coming, but you're doing the work to build up eventually to this in October of this healing, inner internal healing. You're getting yourself ready for this. So that's really great. I'm very happy and very proud of you, Leo. I am. So things will be okay. We just have to like calm down and like process and see things for what they are after we kind of heal some tough stuff that we went through. All right. I love you, and I will see you again in November. Bye.